I'm Amanda.
And I'm Stephanie, and you're listening to the Full of Hot Air podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to our very first episode of the Full of Hot Air podcast. Like I said, I'm Amanda. This is Stephanie. We are so excited to be here with you today. We've thought about having a podcast for a little while, but it's finally coming to life. 2025 goals. We basically just wanted to have this podcast because we wanted to kind of show everybody a glimpse into the behind the scenes of what it's like to have a hot air balloon company, what it's like to own a business, and also just introduce, you guys to people that inspire us. We have some exciting things on the horizon and exciting people to introduce you to, but we really want everybody, when you're listening, to walk away with some kind of nugget out of each episode. So that's our big take home is, you leave after you listen or watch this and you have something new that you can take with you and use towards your life. So here we are. This episode, we kind of just wanted to focus a little bit on kind of who we are, if we haven't met before. So
a little bit about us. So I'm Stephanie. I'm 33. I'm a mom to a sweet little baby boy. He's 17 months now. His name is Oliver. I have tons of animals. I love animals, everything about them. I have 3 dogs, a cat, we have a desert tortoise, just all kinds of different stuff. And my role with Hot Air is I do all of our finances. So, payroll, paying all of our bills, all of that fun stuff. And then Amanda and I both have a hand in like day-to-day operations. So
yeah, and I don't think we said it, but we're sisters. So I'm Amanda. That's Stephanie. We're sisters.
She's been my bestie since the day I was born.
I told her until the day she dies too. Better be. I'm Amanda. I'm 37. Aging like a fine wine, hopefully. I have a 10-year-old fur baby named TJ. I like to work out, be active. Steph and I are both really into like travel and adventure, being outdoors. She's my best friend. So, and my role here at Hot Air Expeditions is kind of like marketing, group sales, social media. As a business owner, we all kind of do it all. And then, like Steph said, we come together on the day-to-day operations, making sure everything runs smoothly, and making sure our team and everything is in place as it should be. And it's really nice getting to work together. Steph and I always are like, we never expected to work together, but it worked out so great, and life has a weird way of putting things in place where they're supposed to be. So a little bit about kind of where Hot Air started. It's probably a question, how does someone get involved with a hot air balloon business?
Our mom always told this story, where basically she always said that she wanted to get into aviation. Our dad was in a Rotary Club, and he said, okay, well, this guy in my Rotary Club, he's selling a hot air balloon. Is that something that would make you happy? And my mom said yes. And so they ended up getting this hot air balloon. Our dad got his pilot's license, and then they kind of packed up and moved from Illinois to come out to Arizona because we have the most flyable days per year, and start their company. So it was really cool. Our mom did a lot of like the operational side, like she would answer the phone, she would do, like the bookings, all of that stuff, and then our dad would go out and fly. So they worked really well together, and it was fun because it was out of our house. So they would we serve food post-flight, and they would like prepare the food in our kitchen pre-health.
Do not report what happened 30 years ago to the health department. Yeah.
But they would prepare it in our kitchen. You know, Dad would leave for the flight. He would get home. Mom would be taking the bookings, getting everything prepared for the next day. So we even kind of, we always like worked in the company. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I mean, nothing official, but
child labor was also part of it.
Yeah. Off the record. No, I'm just kidding. No, but we always did we were always helping out at Hot Air stuff. Like she's always been great at numbers and would help out with payroll.
Since I was in 8th grade.
I mean, that's a gift. I was not talented in that realm, so I would fold gift shop t-shirts. Not really professional in that area either, but we would do filing. We would just always like help our parents out. We were always around, and I mean, it was like a part of our lives since we can remember. So yeah, and I guess like it started out as like one balloon in our parents' backyard, and then it like slowly blossomed and grew into something much larger. Our parents got like their first office building, and you know, had a fleet of vans and a fleet of hot air balloons, and really made it into kind of what it is today, which was pretty inspiring and cool to watch. And when I guess we were kind of involved here and there in the company, kind of sporadic, kind of random. And then we kind of just went, and Steph and I both did our own things. Like we both went to college. We both kind of had jobs outside of Hot Air, and then things changed. Steph was out of town. She, for your graduation, right, had gone to Europe. And then I was out of town with my boyfriend going to his high school or college reunion. And we, you know, were informed that there had been an accident. Our mom was she was flying fixed wing aircraft as kind of like a hobby. Like she always loved aviation, travel, all that stuff. So this was something that she just really enjoyed and was enjoying learning about and being a part of. And when we got that information, you know, they said that she had been involved in a midair collision. And our worlds kind of turned upside down. So that happened. Our mom didn't leave, like, you know, obviously she wasn't planning on this, didn't leave a rule book.
Nothing was left for us. It was, you know, she was supposed to come back that afternoon. So everything was just cohesive. It was so hard because Amanda had reached out. So I was in Europe, and Amanda reached out and said, I found out that it happened. Sorry. And Amanda was like, it's payroll. How are we supposed to pay everyone? So I was on this tour bus in Europe, and it was like before hotspots were really a thing. One of the girl was like, oh, I have a hotspot on my phone where you can get Wi-Fi. And I was like, okay. So I'm like sitting on this tour bus. We were stuck in traffic. There was like an accident on this freeway. And I'm sitting there on this girl's hotspot. I'd never even heard of a hotspot.
This was 2013.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it doesn't sound like that long ago, but hotspots weren't a thing. Yeah.
And I'm like trying to, you know, process payroll and help with all of that stuff. And it was a total whirlwind, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was definitely a whirlwind. I mean, I think God bless Steph and everything she was doing for Hot Air. And she ended up, you know, our dad flew out and brought her back. And we kind of were like, okay, what do we do?
Now
People
what?
are like, you know, is Hot Air continuing? How are we getting paid?
How do we sign a check? Like, you know, like we weren't signers on the account. Like, how do we do anything?
Yeah, it was a cluster for sure. But somehow, thank God, like there's two of us, and like we had each other to like figure this out with, because I have no idea how you would do this on your own. But somehow we figured things out. I don't think it was ever either of our plans to be like, we're gonna step in and run the family business, but that's kind of how things went down, and we kind of were like, let's make sure everybody here is okay. Like, that's what our mom would want. Let's make sure everyone's paid. Let's make sure everybody has jobs. Like, we'll get it figured out. And 12 years later, somehow, some way, Hot Air Expeditions is still vertical, so we'll take it. So I mean, it wasn't easy for sure, but I think it like proved to both of us, like, where there's a will, there's a way. If you want to or you need to figure something out, you will. So we figured it out together, thank God. And here we are. Yeah. So it's been 12 years almost. So, and we're just, we're really happy with where everything's at with Hot Air, and it's a crazy ballooning world, but we wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm speaking for Steph too. Right,
I've got some nods.
But I think the best part that we can both agree on is just that we like love working together, and I'm like, thank God that we work together every day, because it's just the biggest blessing. So it's definitely like, when you have someone that you work with that you feel like you can trust, like, explicitly, and we're different, so we see things in different ways, and it's helpful to have someone in your corner to say, like, you know what about this, or how about we switch this, or did you ever think about it like this? And you're like, you know what, like, we're better together. So yeah, I'm like, if one day you see me doing payroll, Lord have mercy. Everyone check your checks, make sure they're right. But we balance each other out in a great way, and we have an amazing team. After everything happened, a lot of the same people kind of like stuck around and helped us through the whole transition and the whole process, and that was incredible. I'm like, our mom and our dad, from the beginning, but really built a good team and a good like structure, and we kind of, we continue to grow and continue to get better and learn things along the way. And I think that's kind of what this podcast and this show is all about too, is, whenever you start a business or you're running a business or you took over a business, like, no one knows all the answers. Like, we all are figuring things out, and we learn things along the way, and that's what we're here to try to help and share, is like, nobody's perfect, except for me, but no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Sorry. The immediate laugh really shouldn't have been there.
Steph is dying. Can we mute her mic? Yeah. But nobody's perfect, and we're all like learning together, and we're here to help each other, and that's really what this is all about, is like, you know what, like, let's continue to grow. We're never gonna have it all figured out, but dang, if we say something that someone picks up on and it helps them in their journey or their life or their business, then hallelujah.
I think that there's also something to be said about having good people around you. Yeah. There's so many people that have helped us along the way in all different aspects of life. Everyone has something that they're great at, and we can just lean on each person for their strengths and get better because of it. And I think there's so much beauty to that.
So true. Yeah, it's so true. And it's like, even if, like, people aren't in your life for forever, it's like those stepping stones along the way are fantastic. So
right,
yeah, we'll take it. Well, Hot Air currently we so I think we're happy with where we're at now. So we have a team of about, Steph would really know the number,
around 50.
Yeah, around 50. Yeah, it just depends. Like, we have mostly part-time employees with our pilot team. Sometimes they're part-time. We have an office staff, an FAA certified repair station, and a team that works in there as well, a kitchen staff. So that's kind of the state of Hot Air now. We've got a fleet of 9 balloons. We just got our newest balloon SC Sun Chaser. If you ever want to name a balloon, let us know. But yeah, so we're just kind of, I think looking forward, like, what do we want to see in the next 5-10 years? I don't think we're like looking to have a balloon in every state. But I think, we're happy with kind of hot air and where it's at now. We are, we fly in Tucson as well, as Phoenix. So Phoenix is really our like bread and butter for hot air balloon rides. But Tucson's really like having a little moment. So maybe watching that expand a little more, looking at maybe other locations within Arizona. But I think like when we stick to that like small boutique feel, I think that's kind of our niche, I think we don't need to be a big corporation and trying to do all the things. I think when we try to do all the things, that's when we're not focusing really on the details and the nitty-gritty, and that's really what we're all about. So
right. We always talk about how there's such a feminine touch to places. Like, whenever I go into a restaurant and, you go into the bathroom and there's not a purse hook on the door, I'm like, oh, it was a guy.
True.
Like, there's just so many beautiful touches that you can put on things. And that's our goal, is to just try to give that touch to everything.
Totally. Like the little small details, I think, is like what makes the biggest impact, or the little surprises.
Right.
And so I think just continuing to kind of hone in on that and make the best experience possible and see where the wind takes us. And like really our goal, I think like one of our favorite things about having a hot air balloon company and just like what we do is like when people have a great time, like when we hear a review or someone emails us or they call in and say like they had, there was an Instagram comment the other day that said, "This was the best experience of my life." And I'm like, oh my God. Yes, I love this so much. It makes all the hard stuff worth it. So,
and it's sweet too, because I feel like we have some people who will come out and they're like, "Oh, this is my 5th time flying with you guys." Or this morning we even got a text from one of our pilots of people wearing, matching shirts with our balloons on them. And it's just so really cute. Sweet. It makes your heart happy. Like, it's nice knowing that we can bring joy to people and check something off of their bucket list.
Totally. And like carry on our family's legacy too. And it just has like definitely a very personal feel to it. And I think it's just, we're just going to keep on trying to make everyone smile. So I guess that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. It's crazy. I think Mom would be very proud with where everything is now.
Oh. So sweet.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah. We're like, "Mom, did you know we now have branded hot air water bottles?"
Yeah. Our vehicles are wrapped.
We're really leveling up here. We have a booking system that automatically adjusts our inventory. Yeah, so all good things. Well, we are very thankful to be here with you, and thank you for listening and thank you for watching. And I guess so future episodes, we'll have some guests on here to share their knowledge with you guys. We'll have some of our pilots talking. We're going to make sure they keep it PC for you guys.
We'll see.
Yeah, we're going to get a bleeper button maybe for when they come on. I'll be standing in the corner with a whip. No, I'm just kidding. But if you have any ideas on like topics you want to hear about, if there's anything that comes to mind that you'd be like, you know what, that would be awesome to hear about from a business owner, or just something ballooning related, that's what we're here for. So we hope that this episode was insightful and you learned a little something about hot air expeditions, and we would love to hear from you. So, if you have a comment, you have a question, concern,
mainly with
keep those to yourself. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. We would love to hear from you, and thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Until next time.